One thing every successful individual, leader, and entrepreneur have in common is a consistent morning routine. Having a simple, easy to implement routine enables you to start your day with a sense of purpose, accomplishment, clarity, and direction. For this reason, I have prepared for you a free guide with an easy to follow 5 minutes morning routine and a tracking template where you can document your progress day by day. I've been receiving messages from some of you already telling me how this habit has transformed your days for the better. Download this 5 minutes morning routine right now by clicking the link on my show notes so you can start your day on purpose. Welcome to the With Clarity and Purpose podcast with your host, Yanet Borrego. Each week, I bring you an inspiring person or message to empower you to live life on your terms so you can be who you want to be, do what you are meant to do, and have the life you deserve to have. We will provide you with practical and cutting-edge approaches to continue getting clarity and direction on your path, mastering your mindset, and gaining confidence to tap into your inner wisdom so you can live on purpose. I am so happy to be here with you another week in the With Clarity and Purpose podcast. If you're watching the YouTube video, and yes, there is a YouTube channel called With Clarity and Purpose. So if you prefer video format, that's also available for you, my friend. I'm here wearing my workout clothes because I literally came back from working out. I was recording this morning a couple of podcast episodes, and as you can imagine, recording back to back can be very energy draining at times. So I just needed a quick moment to step out of what I was doing, break the pattern, and come back energized, grounded, calm, centered, and balanced. So I'm back, my friend. all for you, because I want you to have all this knowledge, all this information, so you can continue living a life on purpose. Now, if you have been listening to this podcast for the last 2 weeks, there is an ongoing theme, and the theme is all about coaching. 2 weeks ago, we spoke about what coaching is. Coach and coaching are terms that they get thrown around very frequently, and sometimes people don't know what exactly they mean, or they may have an idea but they want to know more about it. So we spoke 2 weeks ago about what coaching is and how would you know if you need a coach. Then last week we also spoke about the differences between therapy and coaching. This is one of the questions I get often in my free 30 minutes clarity calls, where I also try to inform potential clients or clients so they can make an informed decision. So they have all the information they need to make sure coaching is a good fit for them. If you're interested in gaining clarity, I offer this free 30 minutes call for you too. So I'm going to include the link in my show notes. If you're curious about it, or if you need just an extra help to continue gaining clarity, I'm here for you. I'm here to help you continue walking towards this path so you can get closer to your potential, so you can continue growing. And today's episode is all about creating sustainable change with coaching. One of the main purposes of coaching is really help you create that sustainable change, because it's helping you get closer to that potential and even help you to take action so you can achieve your goal, so you can achieve your desired outcome. And that's why coaching is so important, because often there is a gap between where we are and where we want to be. And as a coach, I help my clients to bridge that gap so you can walk in alignment and you can become the person who you're meant to be, right? All of what I do is very purpose driven. Everything that you design in your life, it is important that it has a purpose, it has an intention, and that your actions meet what you're wanting to do, meet your words. And that's what I consistently work with my clients. Now, there are 4 requisites for change, and I'm gonna cover them in this podcast episode today. And I'm gonna relate it back to my coaching program because I do think they are super important for you to know. This not only applies to my coaching program or to a long-term direction, but it also applies to your day-to-day. I'm gonna explain how. Now, most people know what they have to change. Most people know what they need to do. So it's not a knowledge gap, really, what people need help with. What we all need help with is bridging that gap between what we know what we have to do and doing it, because those are 2 different things. And the coaching process really helps you get there. As I've mentioned before, it's an inside out process. So it's really finding the answers within yourself so you can walk congruent. Because the only place you can find your potential is within yourself. So as a coach, I help my clients connect back to that potential so they can live on purpose. I've had coaches too. As I mentioned before, I've coached coaches also. I think the best coaches have coaches, to be honest with you. Because we are all in this path of growing. We are here to do bigger and better things, whatever that is for you. For you may be different than for me, and that's totally okay. It's your path. And I've had 3 coaches that have made a huge difference for me. One, I coached with him at the beginning of my journey whenever I was working on setting up my business, and that was super helpful back then. One is my trainer, my NLP trainer. He's also my spiritual teacher, Dr. Matt James. He's just a very inspiring person, and actually one of my coaching certifications, I did it through his company. He has a very integrative and holistic approach. So he combines spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical to help you recognize that wholeness that is inside of us at all times, really. And that's the coaching style that I really identify with. And of course, I also have a coach that I talk to him every now and then. He has been immensely helpful, even when I was making my decision of whether to stay in corporate or to continue working on my coaching, speaking, and digital course business, which is the one that I'm creating right now. So I want to give a huge shout out to Ron. He's just amazing. I met him in my previous corporate job because, as I mentioned, really, successful corporations, successful executives and leaders, they have coaches. Right now, I'm coaching a couple of leaders and people who have teams. And I think, as I mentioned, honestly, we all need coaches at certain point in our lives. And whenever you're stretching your boundaries, so you can even go above and beyond where you are right now. Now, as I talk about coaching, it is really important to recognize that there are 4 requisites for change, 4 requisites to create sustainable change. When I work with my clients and I have a package for 3 months and 6 months, and we work together, one of my main purposes is to give them the skills, to give them the tools so they can continue creating that sustainable change as we move forward. And these 4 requisites for change and empowerment is something we speak about almost in every session, just to remind them of what it takes to develop and sustain this change. Because let me tell you something, there is no quick fix here, right? You gotta show up. Coaching is a do with process. It is me helping my clients in this case and guiding them towards the direction they gotta walk. And at the end of the day, they are the ones walking the path. I'm just guiding them and using the tools and skills I have for them to continue creating that sustainable change. And these 4 requisites have completely changed my life and the life of my clients. Even my coaching programs follows these 4 requisites framework in a lot deeper level that I'm discussing here right now. But I just want to give you an overview because this is important information for you to have. The first requisite for change and empowerment is releasing negative emotions and limiting beliefs. And even before I start my coaching program, we have what I call a breakthrough sessions, which is a 5 hours in-depth session where I get to ask my clients a lot of questions. And what I'm listening for is really the context and the language that they are using. Because I've trained to be a coach in neurolinguistic programming, I can identify from their language, the context, the structure they are providing. I can identify the underlying limiting beliefs and the root cause of those limiting beliefs. Once we have identified that those limiting beliefs and negative emotions and even all the baggage that they're bringing from their past, right? Clients often realize that they have been suppressing a lot of emotions and beliefs that they were not even conscious about. And when they are talking about it, they realize what's going on. And part of my training as a coach is to hold the mirror in a very neutral and non-judgmental way and let them know what is stopping them from getting there. And not only that, but help them release, because they can know, but if they don't release it at a subconscious level, it's gonna stay there. So after we have identified the limiting beliefs, negative emotions, I have this powerful technique. It's called mental and emotional release. And it's a technique based on how our subconscious mind works. And it allows you to release baggage from years and years. I know I'm telling you this and you may be like, how? And I always tell my clients and everyone, don't believe me, believe when you do it. Because all of my clients, after they go through this breakthrough session, and again, this is very high level. These are 5 hours of in-depth work, just identifying, releasing, understanding what you stand for. It's a whole package. And when my clients go through this breakthrough session, they feel so much lighter. They just start seeing changes in their life. And not only that, but they start becoming more aware of how they show up. Of course, I've done these breakthrough sessions. Someone else have done it on me, of course, although I use the techniques on myself too. But I've done breakthrough sessions in every area, in every possible area of life. I remember there was a time before I met Cody, my fiance. By the way, we are getting married in 1 month, which I'm very excited about. I remember even before I met my fiance, I was really struggling with the dating scene. I had finished a very serious relationship, a 3.5 years relationship. We almost get engaged and everything. And for whatever reason, the relationship had just ended because things didn't work out, and that was okay. And after that, I was really struggling with dating. And not only that, but struggling with my self-worth. And thankfully, that was the year that I took my master practitioner training on NLP, and I got certified as a master practitioner level. And that's what we learned to do this breakthrough session that I'm telling you about. And that same year, someone did a breakthrough session on me in the area of romantic relationships. And after that breakthrough, every single thing in my dating life and my relationships changed. Literally, And I'm trying to remember, that was July. I did the breakthrough session on romantic relationships in July. In November, I met Cody, right? Who is my fiance right now. Because I released a lot of limiting beliefs around self-worth that I honestly didn't even know I had. I was not conscious about it. If you remember from previous episodes, change is unconscious, beliefs are unconscious, our habits are unconscious. So it's so helpful to have someone else as a neutral third party to hold that mirror and help you see those blind spots. That's a gift. And after I did that breakthrough session, so many things changed. I also did a breakthrough session. I've done 2 breakthrough sessions in career for myself. Someone else has done it on me. And they have completely changed the way I see my business, and even me stepping out into my worth to decide to leave corporate voluntarily to pursue my dream of becoming a full-time coach and entrepreneur. I mean, I cannot speak highly enough of these tools because I've experienced it myself, and even the techniques and the tools I use with my clients, I do those on myself, and I work with other people that have the same knowledge I have to go through the same processes, right? Because something that I spoke in the previous episode is integrity. I cannot tell my clients do something that I'm not willing to do, right? So every day as a coach, more than anything, I gotta put that internal work up front as a priority so I can show up with integrity for my clients. That's so important. And even if you decide to work with me or with any other coach, integrity, my friend, it's so important because even at the energetic level, you show up differently when you know you're doing the work too. We are not different, right? My clients and I, we stand in the same platform. We are all doing the work. Now, as I mentioned, the first one is releasing limiting beliefs and negative emotions. Why is that important? Because if you want to reach those goals that you haven't been able to do in the past, you gotta reprogram your mind to let go of whatever beliefs and negative emotions that are limiting you to get there, right? To that path that you have been seeking. It's basically like a reset button. Imagine you're a mega computer and sometimes that computer needs a little bit of an update. A breakthrough session is an update to your subconscious programming so you can show up in a more empowered light. So you can show up now with a clear view of your potential rather than living through the eyes of your past experiences. We all have baggage of any type, right? And what's important is what you do with that. Are you going to continue seeing your present and your future through the eyes of the past? Or are you willing to let go of what is limiting you so you can walk on purpose, your path? That's why even before I start coaching my clients, which again, coaching is very action oriented, even before I get there, one of the requisites for that is doing the breakthrough session, because that is what's going to set you up for success, for you to even gain clarity in your direction, right? Imagine all this junk that you have been collecting for years in your mind, around you, things that you are not even conscious about. The breakthrough session really helps you to start with a clean slate. So that's requisite number 1. Of course, I do that with the clients who decide to go for the 3 months or 6 months coaching program. And I also do the breakthrough session as a standalone service. So if this is something that resonates with you, if this is something that interests you, you can go to the link below in the show notes and of course schedule a free clarity call and we can talk more about it. So that's the first requisite for change, releasing, just getting you to a place where you feel flat and you have a clean screen in front of you that you can look through, that is transparent, that is not filled of junk, that you cannot see even your potential. After that first step, which is releasing your limiting beliefs and negative emotions, the second step, now that you have a clean slate, the second step, my friend, is defining your direction, is gaining clarity on the compelling future you want to create for yourself. I have a whole framework on this, but of course, goals, setting your goals is part of this step, creating your compelling future. Because, I always say, in the worst moments of your life, the only hope you have is the hope of a better tomorrow. Coaching is very future forward. It's basically helping you, again, bridge the gap between where you are and where you want to be. And having a North Star or a compelling future, that's gonna allow you to make decisions and take actions in your everyday that compound for you to get there, to that direction that you're seeking. So we talk about step one, releasing limiting beliefs, negative emotions. The second step is creating your compelling future, basically setting your direction. Who do you want to be? What do you want to be doing? And what are the things that you need to have? And again, this is a whole framework. I'm just here giving you a high level overview of everything. The third step, now that you have a clean slate, in that clean slate, you have designed your compelling future. The third step is really taking action. It's like moving forward towards that direction. As you take action and as you continue moving towards your compelling future, you are going to find obstacles. You're going to find things on the way, or maybe patterns you need to break, or maybe habits you need to change, or mindset shifts that you need to have, right? As a coach, I use all my tools, skills to help clients get there, to help clients overcome those challenges. It's normal every now and then to get off course. It's pretty normal because you are doing things that you have never done before. The important part is how resilient you decide to be, right? You need to bounce back and continue moving forward. And part of my coaching is helping you do that with the right tools, the right skills. And it's highly customized for every person because not every person is the same, right? And of course, I put a lot of energy and investment and planning to design a plan specifically for each person because each one of you is unique. I prepare before my sessions. I prepare after my sessions. There is always homework for my clients because I really work with serious action takers, with people who are serious about their growth, with people that are ready to level up, to show more confidently, to understand what is their potential, right? And they literally invest in me to help them get there. Now, that's the third step. Taking action is so important. And as I've said over and over, coaching is very action focused. So there is homework because the action really starts after our calls. And we meet on a weekly basis for 60 to 90 minutes. The action really starts after we hang out that call, right? What do you do next? That's why homework is so important, and really taking action as you move forward and showing up with consistency. The last requisite for change is focusing on what you want. As I mentioned, as you continue moving forward down your path, there are going to be challenges. There are going to be things that will make you feel as you don't want to show up anymore. Things that you have never seen before. Things that maybe you don't know how to deal with. It is so important as you continue walking your path that you put your attention again into what you want, that you put your attention into your aspiration rather than in the limitation that you are facing. That's why creating that compelling future in step number 2 is so important, because whenever you get off track, you get to reference that. You get to reference what you define for yourself, who you want to be, what you want to do, the things you want to have, of course. So those are the 4 requisites for change. The first one, releasing negative emotions, limiting beliefs. The second one, creating your compelling future, your direction, so you can walk that way. The third one is taking action. It's like moving towards that direction. And the fourth one is focusing on what you want. That part is so important, because as I talk to my clients and to everyone else, and even myself sometimes, I have to catch myself. When I ask people, what do you want? They immediately start telling me what they don't want. And that gives me information in terms of their unconscious programming, right? They're focusing on what they don't want often. So it's really important to shift your attention back to what you want. And of course, I have a toolbox of techniques, skills. I have a million things to help them get there. As I mentioned in one of the previous episodes, the skills I use in my coaching program are based on neurolinguistic programming, which is all about understanding how the mind works with techniques and procedures. I mean, you name it. There are like 50 plus techniques that I have that I use pretty often. The second one is hypnosis. Hypnosis is also a pattern that you use in order to influence the subconscious mind, in order to get to a state where you are relaxed and you can communicate easily with your unconscious mind, and you can reprogram your subconscious programming too. So neurolinguistic programming, hypnosis, I've done energy healing too, different submodalities of that. And I also use astrology too, which, I mean, as I mentioned, my coaching practice is really a balanced approach to our spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical bodies. It's so important for me to see the individual as a whole, and even for you to see yourself as a whole, because there is nothing missing on you already, right? What is next is to reach that highest potential and to walk towards that direction. Now, I just wanted to provide, as we conclude this episode, I hope this is so helpful. Honestly, the 4 requisites for change, I use it, I'm not kidding, every single day in my life. Every single day. Not at the level that I explained necessarily, but sometimes I do. But even, for example, if I'm experiencing a conflict, if there was a challenge that happened in my life, the first requisite for change is releasing. It's basically allowing yourself to get to a place where you feel flat emotionally and mentally, where you can see the situation from a neutral perspective rather than to be emotionally charged. Of course, in my coaching program, I take this at a very deep level, and I promised at the beginning of this episode that I was gonna teach you also how to do this in your day-to-day. Whenever you're experiencing any challenge, make sure that you're flat even before dealing with the situation. That's why you hear people say, do not reply to an email if someone or something, I don't know, made you feel a certain way that is not necessarily positive, right? Just wait until you're flat emotionally and mentally, and then reply. That is exactly what the requisites for change and empowerment is to get to a position where you're not reacting, but rather you're responding from a different place in your mind. The second one is, okay, now that I had this challenging situation, what can I do about it? Is setting your intention, setting your goal. Okay, I'm going to talk to this person and I'm going to set and enforce my boundaries, for example. And then the third one is taking action, actually making it happen, right? And to be honest, that's where sometimes we break this recipe. That's when sometimes we miss the point just on the taking action. That's why a coach is so important. And the third one is focusing on what you want. As you have dealt with the situation, you have taken action. As you continue moving forward, continue focusing on what you want so you don't build more baggage, right? Because when you continue to focus on what you don't want and you continue to find all the faults and all the mistakes, you're building that baggage back again, right? So it's just really important to remember these 4 requisites for change and just to apply them. They have changed my life. That's why I'm sharing it with you here today. They are so powerful, and I know that if you take this seriously, it's gonna be super powerful for you too. Now, my friends, those are the 4 requisites for change. That's how you create sustainable change and empowerment with coaching and even on your day-to-day. It's so important. It's so important to continue applying this as you move forward. If you're curious, based on what you have heard, if you're curious about my coaching program or even my digital course, I offer a digital course that is a simplified version of what I do with my coaching clients. Please schedule a free clarity call. I would be more than happy to connect with you. And I want the best for you. I want you to reach your highest potential, because as I continue walking down on this beautiful and purpose-driven life, I realize how powerful you are. I realize, and I am often reminded based on my clients' results and transformations, that whatever you think you are right now, you're way more than that. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you got your actionable items based on the 4 requisites for change. And if this was helpful, my friend, please share with your friends, family, or anyone else who may need to hear this message. Thank you so much for listening and tuning in this week, and I'll see you next week again. Take care. Thank you so much for listening at With Clarity and Purpose. I really hope you enjoyed today's episode. Sharing is caring. Please share with your friends and family so we can continue building an empowered community together. I'll see you next week.